When a powerful cartel boss is captured or killed, the news spreads fast. People celebrate, thinking the nightmare is finally over. Governments take credit. Headlines shout victory. But is it really the end? Or just the start of something new? Behind the scenes, a darker story begins. When one cartel leader falls, the power doesn't disappear. It shifts. Rivals fight to take control. Loyal followers turn on each other. And sometimes, the result is even more violence than before. So, what really happens after a cartel boss falls? Does peace finally return? Or does the chaos simply change faces? Why do new leaders rise so quickly, even when the old ones are gone? Welcome to the Narco Files, where we uncover the hidden truth behind the world's most powerful cartels. If you want to understand how these empires rise, fall, and rebuild, hit like, subscribe, and stay tuned till the end. Because the story doesn't end when the boss falls. It just began. The fall of a kingpin. Every cartel story seems to follow the same path: a powerful rise and an inevitable fall. It starts with a leader who's smart, ruthless, and feared by everyone. Someone who builds an empire worth billions, controlling everything from drug routes to politicians and even parts of entire countries. But with great power comes great enemies. Rival cartels want their territory, governments want their arrest, and sometimes even their own people want them gone. In the end, every cartel boss faces only two possible outcomes: prison or death. Take Pablo Escobar, for example. In the 1980s, he was the most powerful drug lord on earth, controlling almost 80% of the world's cocaine trade. For years, he ruled Colombia with money and fear, believing he could never be caught. But in 1993, the hunt finally ended. Escobar was killed on a rooftop in Medellin. Many thought his death would end Colombia's pain, but it didn't. Instead, his empire broke into pieces, and smaller cartels rose from the ruins, each fighting for power. In the world of cartels, when one leader falls, another is already waiting to rise. The story never really ends. It just changes hands. The power vacuum. When a cartel boss is taken down, it doesn't bring calm. It creates a dangerous power vacuum. Suddenly, there's no one in charge, and everyone inside the organization starts fighting to fill that empty seat. The same men who once swore loyalty now see a chance to take control. Friends turn into enemies, and what used to be a united front becomes a battlefield. Different factions begin to form, each claiming to be the true heir to the fallen boss. These fights are not against police or soldiers. They're against their own people. The bloodshed often gets worse than before. A clear example is what happened after the arrest of Joaquin El Chapo Guzman. His sons, known as Los Chapitos, and his longtime partner, Ismael El Mayo Zambada, began struggling for power within the Sinaloa cartel. Their internal war spread violence across Mexico. So instead of peace, the fall of a cartel boss often sparks more chaos. Everyone wants a piece of the crown, and no one is willing to step aside. Government victories that backfire. When authorities finally capture or kill a powerful cartel leader, it's seen as a major victory. There are press conferences, celebrations, and promises of peace. Politicians call it a big win in the war against drugs. But out on the streets, the picture looks very different. Without a strong figure to control things, chaos often follows. The organization breaks apart, and smaller, more violent groups start to rise. These new groups don't have the same discipline or structure. They rely on fear, violence, and destruction to gain respect. Civilians, police, and even innocent bystanders often become targets as they fight to take control. That's exactly what happened after El Chapo was arrested in 2016. His capture made global headlines, but soon after, Mexico saw a massive increase in violence. New groups like the CJNG, the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, began expanding fast, taking over territories once ruled by Sinaloa. So, while the government may win a battle, the war often continues in new, bloodier forms. Taking down one cartel boss doesn't end the system, it only reshapes it. It's like cutting off one head of a hydra, only to see two more grow in its place. The rise of new leaders. History has shown one clear pattern. When one cartel boss falls, another is already waiting to rise. Sometimes it's a loyal lieutenant who has been planning his move for years. Other times, it's a rival who sees a chance to take over. And sometimes, it's a new face, younger, smarter, and even more ruthless than the one before. After Pablo Escobar's death, Colombia didn't suddenly find peace. The Cali cartel quickly stepped in to fill the gap, running the drug trade with more secrecy and less chaos. But their reign didn't last forever either. When the Cali cartel collapsed, the North Valley cartel took their place. And when they eventually fell, the power shifted north to Mexico, where groups like the Sinaloa cartel and Los Zetas built global empires. It's a cycle that never seems to end. One empire falls, another rises. The faces change, but the game remains the same, fueled by greed, power, and survival. What's even more alarming is that the new generation of leaders have learned from the past. They avoid the flashy lifestyles that made old bosses easy targets. They use technology, encrypted apps, and social media to stay hidden. In many ways, they're more dangerous because they're smarter, quieter, and harder to catch. How the drug flow never stops. When a cartel boss falls, it might look like a big victory. But the truth is, the demand for drugs never stops. As long as people are buying, someone will always be selling. The business doesn't disappear. It simply finds new hands to run it. When the major Colombian cartels were destroyed, the drug routes didn't vanish. They just shifted north into Mexico. And now, even as Mexican cartels face arrests and military raids, new groups are rising in other parts of the world. Today, drug production and trafficking have become truly global. In Myanmar, massive labs produce meth. In West Africa, new smuggling routes push cocaine toward Europe. In China, factories create synthetic opioids that reach the US and beyond. The fall of one boss doesn't end the trade. It only changes its shape. The drug business is like a machine that never stops moving. When one part breaks, another quickly takes its place. It's no longer a single country's fight. It's a worldwide system built on money, demand, and survival. The impact on communities. While governments and cartels battle for control, it's the ordinary people who suffer the most. When a powerful cartel boss falls, the chaos that follows doesn't stay within the cartel. It spreads to the streets, towns, and villages. Rival groups rush in to take over, and their fight for control brings waves of violence. Kidnappings, murders, and extortion become common. Families are forced to leave their homes to escape the danger. Small businesses shut down because it's no longer safe to operate. Children grow up hearing gunfire instead of laughter, learning fear instead of peace. In places like Michoacán, Guerrero, and Sinaloa, entire communities have been caught between rival cartels. Some locals have even formed self-defense groups, picking up weapons just to protect their land and families. From the outside, the fall of a cartel boss might look like a big win. But for the people living in cartel territory, it often marks the beginning of a new nightmare. One filled with fear, uncertainty, and survival. the families left behind. Behind every cartel boss, there's a family, and their lives are often turned upside down when he falls. Wives, children, and relatives suddenly find themselves in the spotlight, facing shame, danger, and uncertainty. Some are hunted by rivals seeking revenge. Others face years of court cases, frozen bank accounts, and public judgment. For many, the fall of a loved one means losing everything: power, money, and safety. Some families go into hiding, trying to disappear from the chaos. Others try to live a normal life, though the world around them rarely lets them forget their past. In certain cases, like with El Chapo's sons, known as Los Chapitos, the family doesn't walk away. They become the new generation of leadership, continuing the cycle of violence and control. But there are rare stories of change. Pablo Escobar's son, now known as Juan Pablo Escobar or Sebastian Marroquin, chose a different path. He became a writer and speaker, speaking openly about the damage his father caused and the pain it left behind. His story reminds us that even after a life surrounded by crime and violence, redemption is still possible. But it's never an easy road to walk. The global ripple effect. When a powerful cartel boss falls, the impact doesn't stop at one country's border. Drug routes shift, money laundering networks move, and old alliances crumble overnight. For a short time, markets in the US or Europe might see fewer drugs, but new supply lines quickly take over. Even the global economy feels it, as billions of illegal dollars find new paths. It's a clear reminder that cartel power isn't just about drugs. It's about money, control, and worldwide influence. Can the cycle ever end? So, can the fall of a cartel boss really end the drug trade? The truth is, not yet. As long as poverty, corruption, and drug demand exist, someone will always take the risk to step in. The cycle might slow down, but it rarely stops. What can make a difference is awareness, better education, stronger systems, and global teamwork. Real change begins not by killing a boss, but by understanding why people choose this life in the first place. When a cartel boss falls, it might seem like justice has finally won. But is it really the end, or just another part of a never-ending story? Because in most cases, someone new always steps in. New names take the old thrones, and the business continues quietly behind the scenes. The truth is, the fight isn't just against one man. It's against a whole system, a web of greed, corruption, and constant demand. So even when one leader falls, the machine keeps running. And until that system changes, the cycle of power, violence, and money never really stops. What do you think? Can this cycle ever truly end? Or will another boss always rise from the shadows? Thank you for watching the Narco Files. If this video opens your eyes, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with others who want to understand the hidden world of cartels. Stay aware, stay safe, and remember, behind every fall, a new story begins.